Welcome to Life in LA, a look at people and places in Lower Arkansas, our LA. Lower Arkansas is made up of the 15 southernmost counties in the state. Join us each week as we talk to some of the people who make this part of the world such an interesting place to live. And now, let's join Life in LA with our host, Steve Ford.
If you've ever been out in the country, you may have run across an old-time country store. This morning I am visiting. It's not an old-time country store, but it is a store in the country. I'm visiting at Keith's Grocery and visiting with the owner, Philip Story. Philip, welcome to the Life in LA podcast.
Good morning. Welcome.
I think you told me you woke up running and ready to face the day. Is that right?
I get up. Lord blesses me, and I get up every morning like that.
Oh, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. I know your family appreciates that.
I'm one of those people. I'm an early morning person and a late night person. All
I wish I knew how to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, tell me about your family.
My roots go into this community. My grandparents on my mother's side, Elmer and May Willis, lived down here, and I've been coming down here all my life. I moved down here when I was right before I turned 6. We moved into the community.
Wow, down on 160.
Down on 160, and I live about a mile east of that now. So.
So you live down here.
I live down here as well. So this is home.
Mm-hmm.
This is home.
So you married and have kids?
Married, Terri. She lived in Magnolia. We have 2 kids, Andrew and his wife Sarah, and they've got 2 children, Theo and Holly Beth, and they live in Magnolia.
Mm-hmm.
And then my daughter Gretchen, she lives down here as well, and she has 2 children, Piper and Adler. So,
really?
Family's close, and my son and daughter-in-law and my daughter and me and my wife, we're all owners in the store.
So you're all like co-owners in the store,
Yes.
and do they all work down here?
Yes.
But
yes.
not all at the same time?
Not all at the same time. It's varying amount. So.
Yeah. How in the world did you decide you wanted to open a grocery store?
Well, that's kind of one of those things. I worked in a grocery store in high school and out of high school,
mm-hmm.
and I'd always kind of had a desire to own a business, good, bad, or ugly. I'd had that desire. And I was at a age and time in my career, I worked for a large industry, that it was a good time to retire.
Wow.
And or I thought so, and it has been good. And I'd had quite a number of years there, and Mr. Butch that owned this store passed away suddenly. And there was a period of time there that the store was closed, and everybody in this community that I talked to really missed the store, myself included. And the family decided not to open it back up and put it up for sale. And so we kind of, as a family, we said we want to try to buy it. So here we are.
Here you are.
Yes.
Here you are. Of course, if you grew up in Macedonia, just about maybe not quite a mile down the road were the 2 Frank's stores,
Yes.
which I always thought was odd that they were a stone's throw apart.
Yes.
But they were the typical country store.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks Frank's store on 160, and then O.A. Frank's store faced 19 on the side of 160, and I used to frequent both of them.
Wonder what kind of marketing plan that was. I know, let's put 2 country stores side by side.
I guess they thought they would support 2 there, and then this store here was actually here, I believe, in the 40s in a different building, and then this building was built later.
Because this is a lot more modern than
modern as per se.
Well,
yes.
One of the stores is gone, the other's still there, but the building is there.
It's the building. And in fact, my wife and I own that building.
Are you kidding me?
It came up that it could be bought, and we didn't want somebody to demolish it, and the land joins our land we already own. So,
do you have plans for that building?
Well, we did before we bought this building. So bought this business. So
I think
right now we're just keeping the old building.
You got a better piece of property here.
And it's on the corner there. I didn't want to look out of my front door and see somebody else with a business down there.
Oh, yeah. Somebody had said, the college has moved in all those old buildings. Somebody said all they lack is an old country store.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe someplace down the road. That would be a good. Do you ever go? Well, I know if you lived in Macedonia, you went in those two Frank stores.
Yes.
What'd you like to do when you went in there?
Back then, it was always good to get a cold drink. As we used to say, go get a Coke. My favorite was always a Dr. Pepper, but I loved all the flavors, the root beers, the oranges, and the grapes, and all. And you put your hand down in that cold water cooler, and those both had ones that run on a refrigerator. Had a refrigerator. There was one up where my grandparents on the Story side lived in the Pilgrim Rest community that I remember. I'll throw this in there. That he put block ice in his Mr. Johnson's store, and it kept the block ice floating in there, and those drinks were so cold and good in the glass bottles. All.
You know what I miss, and I've not found it any place. They had that big glass jar, and you pull the lid off. They had those lemon cookies stuck down there. Jackson cookies.
Yes.
Can you still get those? You don't carry those here, do you?
No, you can't get them. Until about a year ago, you could still get Jackson vanilla wafers, and they were made in North Little Rock, but they were bought out, and they shut that line down. But
of course, I guess they had Prince Albert in a can at those stores.
Oh, yes. You could get a little bit of, just about a little bit of something.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Wendell Franks, who's got some roots around here, took his camera to the remaining store and filmed it. That last day they were open. He has some priceless photographs.
Those are, and those men in those pictures, I have sat in those chairs and out on that front steps and visited with them. Yeah. And back then, as a preteen or a teenager, you could ride your bicycle up there and go to buy you a Coke or a snack and meet a friend up there. And a lot of times those older men, they were out there talking. They'd say, Go inside and get you a Coke. Now let me buy you one. Come back out here and sit down with us.
Oh man!
And when sit there, they'd buy you a Coke or whatever you was drinking, and you'd get to hear their stories, and it was educational.
It was a different time too, wasn't it? You know, my big brother told me he would ride the school bus on Friday down to Macedonia, spend the night with Adley and Claudie, and then late Saturday afternoon, go out to the highway and hitchhike back to Magnolia.
Yeah.
That's what he told me. I'm not sure. I never did that.
No.
But they were different times. And
my father used to tell me that his parents had a truck, and that my grandfather would drive that to work, and he would play in high school football at Magnolia. And he said when they'd get out, he'd catch a ride home with somebody, or they'd start out walking, and somebody'd see them and know them, and pick them up, take them home. So
now Macedonia had a school system at one time. You didn't go to school there. It was by then.
No, they consolidated in with Magnolia. I don't know. I don't remember what year.
It's been a long time. I guess the old building's still there.
The last building they had still down there. I think the Methodist Church system owns it. They've had different things. It was a
children's home and some things. You attended Macedonia Baptist Church growing up, I think.
For a lot of years, yes.
Yeah. I had a lot of fond memories there, spending the weekend with grandparents and going to church, and a lot of fond memories in Macedonia. So the old country store, you remembered spending some time there. Do you have any of that goes on here? Old men sitting out on the front, or?
Well, we have some that come in. You see a couple of chairs over here to the side. We have had a cousin of mine that come in and sit down Saturday morning. We have some residents that live close that'll come in and sit down. Not like the old store, but they will prop up or sit down and visit a little bit. We have some friends out at Village that drive down, and they'll come in and sit down and visit with us a little while. And they'll buy a little sometimes. Sometimes they don't. That's fine. They stop in and drink a Coke and visit a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I'm driving a school bus. I go by twice a day now. There's usually some cars here in the morning, but then in the afternoon, there's always a bunch of cars out there. Was it people just stopping?
We do a lot of what's for supper. They stop in and get enough for supper that night or something. We carry as full a line of fresh meat as we can, and then we've got a good selection on groceries. We're not a big box store, but we can get you going.
Well, you carry some things that a lot of stores don't. Of course, I'd say your pride is in the meat counter.
Yes.
I picked up a couple of steaks on Friday, and I can vouch for that. They were some good steaks. You been a butcher a long time, or how'd you learn that?
No, just knew a little bit, and then I had a real good friend that when I worked in the grocery store, we made a friendship, and Carl Smith. And he came down before we ever opened, and quite a while thereafter we opened, showing Andrew and I how to do certain things, certain cuts. We didn't get real elaborate with me. He kind of knew what he was teaching, what his students worked on, what my learning capacity was. But he showed us quite a bit. Unfortunately, and Carl had some health issues, and he's no longer with us, passed away within the last year. So he was a good friend. But he was a master butcher. He'd done everything from processing on the farm all the way up through running meat markets. He was such a good friend. And miss him terribly. But he really, really helped us a lot.
A sharp knife and a little knowledge goes a long way, doesn't it?
There's a right way and a wrong way to cut a lot of meat.
Yeah. Your hamburger meat looks different than what I'm used to seeing in the other stores.
Well, it's we don't use the scraps and the junk, and it's we cut it fresh, and we grind fresh daily.
Really?
So and we strive for an 80-20 or a little leaner than that. We go for more of a lean burger, that when you make a burger and cook it, you still got a big burger.
Oh yeah. What do you sell the most of out of the meat market?
It's a good variety of hamburger and steaks. We sell a lot of chicken, a lot of wings. I
heard wings chicken were popular here.
And something else that I got from my grandmother and my mother, we cut up a chicken old country style.
Does it have a pulley bone?
We cut the pulley bone out.
Oh, you're kidding. I hadn't seen one of those in so long.
Well, if you know how to do it, you can cut the pulley bone out. And it's kind of funny sometimes. We have a lot of the older, even some of the older ladies in the community say, would you cut me up a chicken? I said, I can cut one up, but said, you cut one up so fast and so good, just cut it up for me. And we do that.
Yeah. And sandwich meats. You got some sandwich meats.
We sell a lot of sandwich meat. Everything from... its official name is spiced luncheon meat, but everybody calls it pressed ham.
Pressed ham.
And then chopped ham and ham and cheese, and then we got smoked ham, smoked turkey.
You got any liver loaf?
We do have liver loaf. We sell a lot of liver loaf.
Mm-hmm.
We sell a lot of that.
And several different varieties of cheese.
A lot of cheeses. We sell a lot of summer sausage here. Summer sausage and cheese is a good. My friend showed us 6 summer sausage, 6 slices of round cheese in a package, and a truck driver or somebody going somewhere can eat that going down the road, or it's a good low carb meal or snack. Or if you can pair it with some crackers, it's pretty satisfying.
Oh yeah.
So we sell a lot of summer sausage.
Yeah, that's so. Somebody told me you had customers that came from great distances.
They will, and we get people that live in the area. Their relatives will come in from. We have several Dallas customers that are regular. That there's some of these items that you think, well, Dallas you could get anything, but no, they can't find it, and it's stuff that they grew up eating and they want it.
Yeah, summer sausage. I don't know where. Yeah, that's
the pressed ham. That's an old standard lunch meat, and we sell a lot of that and pack it up, and they taking it back home to Dallas or wherever with them.
And you have quite a grocery selection.
We have a little bit of everything in the grocery side. We don't have 7 brands of ketchup, but we got a bottle of ketchup around there, and good ketchup.
I picked up some frozen peach turnovers, and we've eaten on that a couple of times. Those were good, and just things you.
Something that's kind of country store, small store. We have variety items over here that from somebody out of El Dorado that. Convenient Gourmet that does all kind of pickles and jams and jellies and pickled quail eggs and pickled chicken eggs, and we sell a lot of that.
Pickled quail's egg. What does that taste like?
Well, he's got about several flavors. There's for everything from plain to Cajun, spicy to habanero or jalapeno hot. So,
do you carry moon pies?
We do have moon pies.
You got to have a moon pie.
We don't have an RC Cola, but we have a moon pie.
You've got greeting cards over there.
Got a few greeting cards.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I don't see alcoholic beverages.
No,
Maybe
sir.
You don't have alcoholic beverages.
No.
I think your neighbor down the street just applied for a permit.
They just got approved.
So tell me about that. You look up one day and there's a new store going in. When did you hear about that?
Well, we got a rumor that the land next door was for sale, and we inquired on it. And by the time we got the answer back, it joins us there. So we was interested in the land. And when we got the answer back, it already been sold 2 acres to a corporation out of Mississippi that builds the buildings for an
unnamed.
For an unnamed, I almost messed up and said that there.
Yeah.
I'm being nice, they, we know a lot of our customers shop at that store and other stores around. There's quite a few of them around, but it was a very much surprise that out in this, as rural as we are, that they
I think
come
so.
down there.
You opened up kind of with the idea to serve this community, and it looks like kind of a David and Goliath deal going on.
Well, there are a lot of things that they can buy a whole lot cheaper and easier than we can buy.
And I guess they do carry some things you don't carry.
Yes, a lot of household items
right.
and paper goods.
But it just
stuff.
struck me as odd when I saw it here within a stone's throw.
Yes.
It's like, well, let's just put a new store here. It's almost like in the olden days when you had 2 Frank stores right side by side. But,
it was a surprise, but we've just trying to put our best foot forward, do what we do as good as we can, and find a way to do it better, and treat our customers like we want to be treated ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Well, the golden rule is still golden, isn't it?
We believe very much in yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am here.
Well, you can't go wrong with that.
That's the way we were raised, and that's just the way we go at it.
Yeah, I think your lady at the front counter told me she hadn't seen a decline in sales.
Our numbers are still good.
Well, that's good.
Our numbers are still good. That's Gina Burns up there. She was here a long time before and she agreed to come over. She'd actually taken another job, and when we opened up, we wasn't going to bother her in her new job, and she told us that I would like to come back here, and she's quite an asset.
Oh, yeah,
She opens up with me Monday through Friday in the mornings.
Well, my first experience with Keith's Grocery, driving that bus, I pulled in one morning, and I wasn't familiar with the student. You're supposed to walk to the back of the bus and push a button, and I wasn't familiar with that as I should be, and set off the horn. It was honking and honking, and I finally figured out how to turn it off. You'd started out the door I wanted to see if I was okay.
See what the problem was.
I have since learned how not to make that horn go off, and I have dropped in a time or two. It's a great place to stop when you need that pick-me-up.
We brew a fresh pot of coffee in the morning. We start that before we unlock the door.
Yeah.
And then we got fountain drinks, of course, cold drinks, and energy drinks, and about a pint of milk or whatever gets your day rolling.
Now, you told me you had gone to Macedonia as a kid. You attend First Baptist now. What is the role of faith in operating a grocery store? Does that impact what you do?
We ask the Lord. We thank the Lord for every day. We know that we thankful for His hedge of protection and for His watch care over us. Because just every day and everything we go about, that's just how we approach everything.
It would be a better world if everybody did that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we like I say, and that also goes back to treating people like you want to be treated.
Yeah,
and sometimes it can be trying, but that's where we start out at.
Right, great.
And we try to treat everybody honestly.
Well, Philip, I see Andrew came in now. He's back behind the counter. Y'all are serving together. Does that work out okay?
It works good. That has been another blessing here, is getting to work side by side with my son a lot of the week, and that's been fun. I'm not going to let him speak here, but we actually work together side by side very well. No, I'm joking.
Well, I've only got one microphone besides mine.
We do work very well together. So
that is great. That is a blessing that family can be that close, and it's a good lesson to learn. I need to stop in at Keith's Grocery more often and check in, see how things are going.
Well, we appreciate you coming in.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Life in LA. Feel free to contact us at steveford@gmail.com if you have a suggestion for a future topic. And as always, tell others about this podcast and share it on your favorite social media. You've been listening to Life in LA, a production of Steve Ford Photography.